now is Missouri Senator Josh Hawley. Senator Hawley, we've been talking a lot about federal workers and how traumatized they are for receiving an email with questions about what they did during their day, and their children are apparently traumatized, according to Hakeem Jeffries. I would argue there's no more traumatized federal worker than the immigration enforcement officer. First it was abolish ICE, then it's Border Patrol's whipping people. Joe Biden misled the country about that. And now doxing their phone numbers up? How do their kids feel?
Yeah, it's absolutely outrageous, Kaylee. And listen, it's not just anti-ICE activists outside the federal government. What worries me is we have seen leaks from within the government trying to impede ICE, trying to impede these raids. We've seen leaks about operations in Chicago, in Los Angeles, in other parts of the country. We've seen them come from within the FBI, according to the DHS secretary. We've seen them come from within ICE, within DHS, apparently. This has got to stop. And I will just say this, Kaylee, the deep state is real. You can see it with this doxing that's going on. This is the deep state at work. And we have got to figure out who is illegally leaking this information, and they need to be fired, and if possible, they need to be prosecuted.
It's a huge problem. The deep state is real. And to that end, as we're talking about government workers, and let's bring up government contractors, there was some new reporting today about IRS data. This was revealed during a House committee hearing. And listen to this, relying on data analysis by the Treasury Inspector General for Tax Administration, the IRS mailed notifications to 500,427 taxpayers whose taxpayer information was inappropriately disclosed by a guy named Mr. Littlejohn. Mr. Littlejohn was a government contractor. We initially thought 70,000 taxpayers were involved, now 400,000+. I mean, is this not the case for looking at who we're hiring or what?
Yeah, it's absolutely outrageous again. And this is why what President Trump is doing to get to the bottom of these agencies, to cut out the rot. Kaylee, he's exposing the rot, he's exposing the corruption, and he's tearing it out. And that is what we need. We need to protect the American taxpayer. We need to protect the American citizen from these criminals who are on our streets, these criminal illegals committing all of these crimes. And that's why ICE's mission is so important. That's why exposing the waste and fraud and abuse, as Trump is doing, is so important. And I think that's why people are looking at this. His approval ratings are at all-time highs. They're saying, more power to you, Mr. President. You're out there fighting for us.
On that note about illegal immigrants, and there's another story, Wall Street Journal, this was just reported, that President Trump, and this has not been confirmed by the administration, is creating a registry where illegal immigrants have to report in information. It would apply to anyone 14 years and older, and it would be pursuant to a 1940 law passed by Congress. What do you think of that? A registry for illegal immigrants so we have some accountability, maybe so we can find guys like Jose Ibarra before they kill young women.
Well, how about the fact, Kaylee, that this last administration not only allowed 10, 11, 12 million illegals into the country, they allowed 520,000 children to be trafficked into this country illegally, and they have no idea where they are. So am I in favor of figuring out where all of these people are? You bet I am. And am I in favor of deporting them? You bet I am. And we ought to start with the criminals. So I think what Trump is doing here is absolutely vital. He's closing our border. That is as it should be. He is deporting the criminals. That is as it should be. And I think the message ought to be to people within the government who are out there impeding this effort, who are impeding the law, who are leaking evidence, evidence of raids, leaking details, who are doxing fellow agents. Those people need to be removed. They need to be prosecuted, and the law needs to be enforced.
Amen to that. Senator Hawley, thank you.